Hello and welcome to a new video. In today's video, we're going to take a look at some very exciting gameplay here, to be fair, because this is such a cool story, basically, because this is the first season of this player actually playing PvP, and they are in the top 200 of the leaderboards. Yeah, this is a student of mine from MetaFi, and they started basically contacting me. We did a lot of sessions this season, which were all a lot of fun as well, to be fair. But they started at the 1700 elo range in the beginning, and they're now in the top 200, which is such a ginormous accomplishment from literally never really playing Go Battle League into being in this position is ridiculous. We're going to have some gameplay here from them with the team that we basically were using throughout the entire season for the Open Great League to climb up to Legend for the first time. Again, first season where they actually ever played the Go Battle League. They didn't have really any battles in before. They only really started as well with PvP or like with Pokemon Go throughout the season, or like a little bit just before the season. So most of the Pokemon they actually were building throughout the season as well. They were all from like spawns, and this was the team here that we started to use from the beginning. It was the team that got them to Legend. It is the team that they're still using till this point as well, and it's such an overpowered team, which, funnily enough, actually comes from a team that my girlfriend was using on her channel, and we just tried to adjust it a little bit. We played now Claydol instead of what she had with the Marowak, and yeah, this is absolutely amazing. It's a ginormous accomplishment, by the way, for a player to hit Legend in their first season as well, and yeah, I'm super proud, and that's kind of why I want to showcase it as well. And while yes, of course, part of it is going to be because of the coaching, otherwise it would really make too much sense as well to have coaching. By the way, again, link down below if you're interested as well for coaching, especially towards the next season. Yeah, the link down below to MetaFi. I offer coaching throughout, weekdays basically on MetaFi, so if you're interested, you can always book there. But of course, coaching alone is not going to completely do that for you to get up to Legend. What this player actually did as well is they completely committed towards trying to get to Legend. They were really wanting to learn all of that. They really tried to get the Pokemon that they needed throughout the season. Like, again, like this player only started like 4 months ago basically playing Pokemon Go, and they got like basically everything for PvP throughout the season. So some of the battles here, I think as well, most are still going to be from the Catch Cup, but most of them are going to be from the Great League then as well, because Q times are a bit crazy on the Catch Cup. But like most of the Pokemon that they were able to get here for this team are actually just from this season as well, which showcases as well, it's not only like the first time that this player is playing really Go Battle League, it's also basically showcasing that you can get a good team just within a season and getting up to Legend within one season, which is kind of ridiculous. But yeah, let's talk a little bit about the team. We have so much insight now with this team because we did like basically all the battles with this team in the Great League throughout the entire season. So like there are a lot of matchups where we know them kind of in and out, and we figured out quite a lot towards this team, which I can of course trying to show here as well. The big issues for this team are a few Pokemon actually. Superior are going to be a bit of an annoying Pokemon. Having a double ground backline is going to be very difficult here to deal with it. But again, if it's an elite, we have Wigglytuff. Another issue is going to be Jumpluff, which you see here currently on the screen. This Pokemon is going to be very, very tricky, but we have at least good coverage if we have energy on our Claydol, and we're going to have, of course, the Icy Wind as well on our Wigglytuff, plus the Charm damage, but it's a very tough matchup to play around as well. Same goes for Talonflame, very tough matchup. But against all of those Pokemon, we kind of figured out a little bit a way of at least dealing with them. Credilli, by the way, also was mostly the worst Pokemon to face with this team as Credilli. But yeah, we basically figured out stuff to do against all of those different kind of awkward matchups with this team. And that's the beauty of basically playing a team for that long. You're just going to be able to find out, certain matchups that you have to play in a certain way in order to win that. And that takes sometimes a little bit, and that's going to make a team so much better. So maybe there are better teams currently out there, but if you have the knowledge about a team in that degree, you're going to be able to get better results than if you run a team that might be with better Pokemon directly, but with like Pokemon that you maybe don't have the knowledge about. Anyway, we're going to take a look here now at the team as well. We're going to take a little bit more look at some of the matchups. Here, for example, we see the Shadow Feraligatr, a matchup where the Wigglytuff is totally good against. And here again, those are the battles that they did on their own. If not everything is perfect, again, it is a player that did this for the first time the season, like the first season for them playing. So even if things are not perfect yet, that's absolutely what you would expect. You wouldn't really expect to get up to over 3,300 MMR in the first season, but it is what it is. It happened here. And we got to see low kicks. Of course, they know that they're going to have to go into the Wigglytuff, and they don't know on how to deal with the Seaking because they didn't actually know the moveset of it, because again, it's their first season of playing that game in general. So I don't know the exact moveset of a Pokemon like Seaking, which is totally understandable. Like for me, that's kind of clear, but for most people it's like, okay, what does Pokemon run? This Pokemon runs Poison Jab, Icy Wind, and Drill Run. 3 legacy moves, by the way, but they were still able to kind of overcome this. They're going to be able to go for a charge move here against the opponent's low kicks as well. And yeah, the Rock Tomb itself is going to be enough now to knock out the opponent, and this is going to be it for this battle. Moving on. Let's see, we're going to have Thackery in the lead here. Of course, here we kind of want to swap out. In the Catch Cup, funnily enough, we figured out that it's better to go into the Gaston as a safe swap, because a lot of people are running apparently Feeble in the Catch Cup. But here in the Open Great League, it's better to go into the Claydol as your safe swap, and Claydol is the main Pokemon basically of this team in my opinion. This is the most broken Pokemon that you can kind of run currently. This Pokemon is ridiculous. Why is it so strong? Good question, because I don't know, like this thing is just so overpowered with the move of Rock Tomb, and as you're gonna see here, they're going to be able to realign themselves, which is absolutely amazing. They could have went for the charge move here a bit earlier, which will have allowed them to get the shield and keep the shield here, which might be coming clutch for them later on as well if they would have had the shield. But they were able to realign. Now Tinkaton goes up against the ground type and the Lapras goes up against the Wigglytuff. The best way of playing this one here is to just no shield everything on the Wigglytuff, to be fair. The shield here, which is not ideal. The thing is that you kind of want to keep the shield for the Gastrodon, which just has a bit more pressure and is more needed against Pokemon like the Tinkaton. Here the opponent uses a shield anyway, so like it is fair to do it like this. But it's still not going to be an easy matchup for them. Sparkling Area comes through, and they're still going to get the KO here. And this is the issue why I would have rather seen the shield coming up against the Gastrodon there, basically. Because Gastrodon is going to be able to have more shield pressure with the move of Body Slam. Here they're still going to get to another Sparkling Area, so this was not ideally played. But again, remember, this is like without any coaching or whatever. And this is the first season of this player. So like, yeah, there's going to be things that are going to be not perfect, and that's going to lose, for example, battles like this. But still, like, getting up to 3,300 elo, what the hell? Anyway, Drapion here. Drapion is going to be next. They, by the way, got up to 3,300 elo on their own. I don't want to take any credit of this one. We kind of did the legend run together, but they climbed up 300 points afterwards on their own. So, like, I don't really want to have any credits for that one. That is a huge accomplishment to get up like this. But let's see here. We're going to have the acrobatics coming up from the Jumpluff. This is another talking point that I kind of want to talk about as well, is the Jumpluff matchup. While Jumpluff is going to be great, kind of not great, it's okay to face in the lead. We usually say that we just double shield the move basically in the beginning here, because we kind of need to keep our Wigglytuff alive for the Jumpluff as the only Pokemon that has really fast move pressure against it, at least nowadays. In the middle of the season, basically, the ideal moveset of the Jumpluff changed from Think Energy Ball Aerial Ace to Aerial Ace Acrobatics, which makes the matchup way better for the Claydol, as you don't have to fear super effective damage from it, which is kind of cool. Here we're going to see Primeape against the Gastrodon. This is going to be a matchup where this is going to get the shield from the opponent, that's fine. We're going to see here the no shield coming through, which is also totally okay. That's going to allow you to still survive the move here. And you can go for the Body Slam, which would knock out the Primeape from the opponent. And it does knock them out. And it's down to Drapion now against the Wigglytuff. And this is the thing as well, the entire team is actually very solid against the Drapion. As Drapion is going to, takes super effective damage, of course, from Mud Slap, but also takes still neutral damage from our Wigglytuff's Charm. It's actually a very solid matchup. Against Quagsire, it's a bit of a tricky one, I guess, to play against, because this Pokemon, it depends on really what moveset they have here. And you can, of course, stay in here. Let's see what they're going to have. I think it's going to be Mud Bomb. It's Aqua Tail, okay? It was Aqua Tail, actually. I think they battled another one with Mud Bomb. I saw some of the games already before, but as you're going to see here, the Aqua Tail is coming through. They're going to use a shield. They still have to take basically another hit here. That's the thing. This Pokemon is very, very... Oh, they have Mud Bomb here. That's what I was remembering. This Pokemon is very, very... what's it called? yeah, spammy. But as you see here, the charge bug is coming in. It's actually really good that you were swapping out into the gas run, even though it was not the direct ideal play because it's the harder counter to the Sand Slash. But what you're going to be able to do here is now you're going to be able to bait out the charger bug, hit the Earth Power. They're really good, by the way, at guessing when the opponent baits or not, like basically calls the bait or not. And as you're going to see, the opponent goes down. We have another Earth Power coming through. And ideally, it would be if they're going to swap out now into their Claydol, which they do, perfect. And with that, they might not be able to go for the Rock Tomb here because I think the opponent has 2 charge moves, but they're still going to get so much fast move pressure in with just the Mud Slaps alone. We see here the KO against you as well. But we have now still the Wigglytuff, which I think is only 1 fast move away from being at a Swift, which is going to be absolutely amazing, as this is going to be enough to get the KO against the opponent with 1 more fast move. Next up, let's see what we're going to have here. We're going to have Wigglytuff against Malamar. Again, very favorable matchup for you. This is going to be where you can stay in. And here's kind of the thing as well. What you kind of want to do with this team is, with Wigglytuff, you kind of want to weaken up things and then later on go into your Gastrodon. Here, for example, you want to go for a Swift, which is ideal. They decide to use a Shield, which is okay. Here, the opponent actually lets the move go through, which is interesting because... yeah, okay, it doesn't really matter, like they're still gonna swap out, they're still gonna be able to take the hit here, but you're gonna be able to get a ton of energy, which now allows you to pressure the next opponent, Pokemon there, with your Gastrodon. You can go for the Body Slam, which allows you to either get a bit of damage on, or the Shield, you're gonna get the Shield, and so you're back in a really good position here with this team, and that's like kind of the idea behind it. You kind of do a lot of team effort with this team. A lot of Pokemon are maybe a bit more tricky for you to deal with, like a Blastoise. You don't have a clear answer on this team here, but what you can do is you can use the Wigglytuff's Charm to your advantage, go for a Swift, and then swap out afterwards. And here, as you're gonna see, that's going to be a Tinkaton in the back, which is absolutely fine for you, as you're gonna be able to just go for the Rock Tomb here as well, which is going to be absolutely fine. I guess this is going to drop the opponent's attack. This is going to be the better move to go for compared to Ice Beam. Now you can just go for the full Farm Down, and this is going to be great here, as they still survive with 1 HP, doesn't really matter. Play Rough does not do enough damage. You have even enough energy here to go for another charge move. The opponent goes for a charge move here as well, but you're not in range yet for a superpower. So here, you should be kind of okay. We're going to see the full charm down against the opponent, and this should not be enough to knock you out. And with it, you're going to be able to win the battle, and we can move on to the next opponent. Rookhaven here, a player that is also very well known for being very, very good, also in like those regional tournaments. Let's see on how this battle is going to go. We're going to have here the matchup against the opponent's Feraligatr. What you kind of want to do in the lead matchup is you kind of want to stay in here and just play it out. You win this as a Wigglytuff. You kind of always win this as a Wigglytuff. Against normal, it's a bit worse than actually against the Shadow one. But in this case, it's actually totally fine because you're going to be able to get the KO in time. In comes Credilli. This is the issue. This is the Pokemon you don't want to face. And using the Shield here is the correct choice, because what you want to do is you kind of want to get the Icy Wind off first. Something out here is not really the choice that you want to go for. But yeah, Icy Wind would be ideal here if you would get this off beforehand. But yeah, Grass not going to get shielded, which is fine. We're going to have here the Rock Tomb coming through as well, which is going to be enough to get them low, but not the KO, and now you have to take another hit. Ice Beam would have been able to knock them out, but of course, I guess not expected here that the opponent would have no shield. As you're gonna see in the back, the Primeape, interesting. You might be able to go for an Icy Wind even as well later on. Here, Rock Tomb is the only thing that you can do, really, because it's going to drop the opponent's attack there as well. They're overpowered by quite a bit, they have a ton of energy here. But if you go into Wigglytuff, they're mostly going to be forced to go for close combat against you, which would be a great choice. We're going to see here the Gastron actually coming in. Rangefist is not going to be enough for sure, and you can just farm down again. I actually went into the Wigglytuff there just to force the close combat, dropping the opponent's defense even further, but we can move on now to the next opponent. We see Shadow Drapion in the lead. Of course, here you want to swap out straight away into the Claydol. This is kind of the main save swap for this team, of course, Claydol. You only go into your Gastron as a save swap if you're going to encounter a Talonflame in the lead. Here's, by the way, an interesting fact as well. You're going to see now the Azumarill against you. The thing is, with Azumarill, what we figured out with Claydol is that you're actually going to be able to realign yourself guaranteed against an Azumarill with Claydol. This doesn't make sense. You have a ground type against a water type Pokemon, you have a Bubble super effective against you, you have Ice Beam super effective against you, you can guarantee alignment. In the two-shield scenario, Azumarill doesn't have play against you at all, which is kind of hilarious. As long as you go into two shields, you're going to be able to always realign. In this case, they didn't have to do that, but what we will see here is as well that they're going to let the move go through. Aquatail coming through, we're going to see this swap out now into the Diggersby, and what you can do is you can go into your Wigglytuff again. You have perfect alignment, you're going to have the Icy Wind coming in there as well, And this is looking really promising for you, as we will have here the Ice Wind coming through, getting the debuff onto him. And this is going to look really nice. You see the shield coming up from the opponent. You can let the move go through. You cannot just want to keep it for your Gastrodon. Not ideal. Attack drop there as well, which they always got, by the way. That's kind of a meme between us as well. You could have stopped out here as well before. We would have kept you basically the energy there. It still doesn't really matter. Not ideally played, but it doesn't really matter because it's still going to be able to win the battle here, as far as I can see that. As Gastrodon should be kind of fine. Again, if you stopped out there, kept the energy, would have been really good for the Digger speed there as well. But you have 2 body slams stored, the opponent forfeits, and we can move on to the final battle of today's video. Next up, we're going to see here the final battle, going to be Malamar coming in. Yeah, again, we actually did like 1 set now after this battle as well. In a call, and yeah, they got a 4-1, which could have been even a 5-0, and yeah, they got up to 3,335. This is going to be just the set before that. And as you'll see here, it's going to be the Feraligatr and Elite. Again, we can play this out, and this is why the non-Shadow one is a bit more annoying, because the non-Shadow one can survive those hits a bit easier. But luckily here, as you'll see, it's going to be still enough for you to fully farm them down. We will have here the Sandslash coming in, and we're going to have a Claydol coming in as well, where you're going to be able to maybe use a shield. You don't have to use a shield, you still survive an Ice Punch. It depends on what you expect in the bag. It's going to be here, of course, the Malamar, where you're going to be able to go for the Rock Tomb. That is dropping the attack, and so you have still the Wigglytuff against it, and that's basically game already, because you have the Gaston against the Steel type. You're going to have the Wigglytuff against the Malamar. It needs 1 more fast move. You don't need to shield anything on the Wigglytuff as well. Yeah, that's going to be basically fine. You're going to get the Ice Wind off here as well first, and then you have your Ground type in order to finish up this battle. So this is a very simple team to run the current time as well. But then again, there's quite a lot of play behind it. You have interesting matchups like the Azurma matchup that we talked about already with the Claydol. You have interesting matchup with the Gastrodon, and Gastrodon has a lot of play in certain matchups as well. You want to stay in with the Wigglytuff in a lot of kind of more neutral scenarios, and then swap out eventually into your Claydol. For example, if you face a Lapras or a Azurma on the lead, you want to stay in, go for a charge move, take a hit, and then swap out. And that's going to be it for this video. Hopefully you enjoyed this one. Again, coaching down below. Thanks so much for also letting me showcase those battles here. But yeah, congrats to you, climbing up 1,600 MMR basically this season. Kind of crazy. Hopefully you enjoyed this video. If you did, feel free to leave a like. See you then. Bye-bye.